The president election in Russia is over. The result was unexpected. Vladimir Putin was elected the president for the fifth time, or should I say, was made the president for the fifth time. The pre-election sugarcoating of Russian people that was taking place in the last 6 months is over, and now Russian people are waking up to a new harsh reality. The terror, and I mean real terror, has begun. And most likely it will affect many Russians who have thought that they're non-political, therefore they're not in danger, they have nothing to worry about. It is a very important thing that happened on March 18th, and I'd like to attract your attention to that. And, good morning to you, dear fellow Russian citizens. The time has come. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. No propaganda, BS, or lies here, only truth, common sense, and logic. And some emotions too, because I am a human being after all. In today's live stream, I will not give you numbers and figures, and nothing like that. Instead, I'll share my findings and analysis with you, and I have not heard of anything remotely like that, of anyone noticing this and bringing it up. Small details, I noticed them, and they're getting together like pieces of puzzle, and they're painting a big picture. And the picture that's being painted now is dark. I mean, it's not even dark, it's black. It's not good. It shows me that there's a trend forming, a long-term trend, a pretty bad trend for New Russia, or the New SSR, or whatever this country is called these days. Before I jump into giving you my opinion and my findings, I'd like you to meet someone. Meet Nadezhda Rosinskaya, a widely known volunteer from the city of Belgorod, the founder of the volunteer movement called the Army of the Beauties. For 2 years, she had been helping Ukrainian refugees to Russia, helping to provide them with basic necessities and food. Recently, she was arrested by the KGB and accused of a very serious crime in Russia, calling for helping the armed forces of Ukraine. That is despite the fact that Rosinskaya is considered the enemy in Ukraine, helping the aggressor. Rosinskaya's crime, according to KGB, is that she was calling for supporting Ukrainian army. But in reality, her real crime is that she has been exposing the fact that the government in Russia does not keep everything under its control, and showing that there are people in Russia who are left without assistance from the government, and there are quite a few people who are seeking refuge from destroyed cities in Ukraine, and they are in dire straits because of war. Meet Mikhail Sharygin, a political activist and a supporter of Alexei Navalny. He was arrested in Nizhny Novgorod and charged with, I quote, involving city residents in the activities of an extremist organization created by Alexei Navalny in order to destabilize the social and political situation on the eve of the presidential election in Russia, I unquote. He is also accused of being instructed by the leaders of anti-Russian centers that are located abroad, whatever they are. No one really knows. The proof of his crime? Well, during the raid and search of Mikhail's home, they found symbols of FBK, Alexei Navalny's organization, the banned illegal political party that Alexei created, and $10,000 in cash. That's the proof of the crime, according to the KGB. Meet Polina Orechova, Yegor Komlev, and Yelena Gribkova. All are residents of Moscow. All were recently arrested and charged with participating in authorized meetings. No wonder, as they all came to the funeral of Alexei Navalny to say farewell and to honor him by laying flowers. All of them were identified by city's security camera system and later arrested. The list of names can go on for a long time. There are quite a few names already, and these people I just gave the names of. They are among the first victims of the terror. I'm telling you this information so you understand that siloviki, those government agencies that have legal rights to use violence against Russian citizens, they have started getting pretty busy. The terror campaign has begun. The real people, decent people, have started suffering. On February 20th of this year, I did a live stream called "Who is winning in Russia, the doves or the hogs?" To make the long story short, the long stream short, I believe that there are two major parties or groups among Russia's leadership. The doves are fairly peaceful, they use economic policies, and they want to at least keep a mask of humanity on the face of Russian state. And the hogs are those old people, the remnants of the Soviet Union KGB system, that desire complete control over Russians and could care less of their freedoms, happiness, choice, personal well-being, and things like that. They simply don't know such words. Their vocabulary is, you belong to the state. Your duty is to give your life if the motherland needs it. You mean nothing. The country means everything. You have no rights. The state knows better, etc. That's the old rhetoric of the USSR. So I suggested in that stream that the doves, who for the past 2 years have had the upper hand in the governing Russia, in government's decisions and actions, that the doves were losing to the hogs, and that the hogs would soon, after the present election is over, seize complete control over Russia. And they will start ruining the country, well, ruining it completely. It's been ruined already. They will start ruling in the way that they understand well, probably the only way they understand, in the way of terror, in the way of fear. They'll make people fear by showing cruelty. Who will be the first ones to fall? Well, there's an organization in Russia universally hated by all siloviki agencies. By police, by the KGB, the Attorney General, you name it. Everyone, including the Ministry of Emergency Affairs. That organization is FBK. The political organization created by Alexei Navalny quite some time ago. He tried to make it into a political party. FBK was destroyed and outlawed in Russia in 2019, 5 years ago. There were laws created labeling it as an extremist organization, and anyone participating in that extremist organization would automatically become extremist and a subject to prosecution under new laws. But you see, the government couldn't erase FBK from people's hearts and minds. They could create laws, they could start prosecuting, they could destroy this organization, disperse it, but they couldn't erase from minds and hearts. It, to this day, still enjoys a great deal of support. They killed Alexei Navalny. First, they imprisoned him. They tried to poison him unsuccessfully. They imprisoned, and they finally killed him. But they cannot erase his memory and his ideas from the hearts of some Russians. And I thought back in February that Navalny supporters will be the first target. And I turned out to be absolutely correct. They have started arresting Navalny's supporters. Now, it's the people who in the past were connected to FBK, not necessarily, worked directly for FBK. Those who worked in the local offices all over Russia, those have been arrested for a long time, or many have fled Russia. But now they've started arresting simply people who were connected to it. Even people who did as little as transferred a small donation, any donation, even $1 to FBK, let's say 10 years ago, when it was still perfectly legal to do so according to then current Russian laws. Now, if you did it 10 years ago while it was still illegal, now if you did it 10 years ago when it was perfectly legal, now, according to today's laws, you still committed the crime. They still can arrest and convict you for donating $1 to FBK, like say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. This is the mad circus, and I talk about it all the time. So there are people like that, dozens of thousands of all over Russia, who donated small amounts, big amounts, who made reposts in media, social media accounts, and so forth, and they will all, or most of them, will become victims. Economic situation in Russia is declining fast. I call this economic tsunami. It is a reality that cannot be ignored. All you have to do is to look out of your window if you're in Russia, and that's it. And the Russians, they start wondering, what the hell? Why we're told that everything is fine, but we look out of the window and we see that the reality is quite a bit different from we're told. And that's where Navalny comes in. Well, he will come in soon. Him and his supporters will be announced internal enemies, the agents responsible for all Russia's problems, including economic problems. You see, they will sell Russians this idea that these enemies, domestic enemies, they live in Russia, but they're traitors. They're Russian citizens. They're among Russian people, but they're traitors nevertheless, working for the enemy, the evil satanic West, of course. And they do damage to the country. They do damage to the economy in different forms, in very sophisticated forms, in the ways that they can. For example, they slow down mobilization by different slogans and leaflets that they distribute. They bankrupt their companies, so they don't pay taxes anymore for the government. They don't work hard enough for the motherland. They organize protests to paralyze society and sell the society fake ideas. They do all kinds of sabotage, things like that. The KGB will come up with perfect examples and it'll sell it to Russian people. So dozens of thousands will be identified and arrested, and they will be blamed for everything that Putin and his clique have done, and they will be prosecuted. And there will be innocent victims, of course. They will get long prison terms, and the very public campaign of identifying and prosecuting them internal enemies who support Navalny. Navalnyata, as they're said in Russia. It'll keep people busy for some time, perhaps for as long as a year, perhaps even longer. And you see, that has already started. It is already happening. Remember those people I wanted you to meet in the beginning of the stream? They are among the first victims. But it's not the campaign, the big campaign yet, but I believe the campaign is being organized. And we all will see the campaign, because that's going to hit like a train. all at once. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of people arrested, and that was going to be all over the news, and Z people were going to be screaming about that, and propaganda and all that. It's coming. We will see that. Right now, they're just warming up. So I believe that the big campaign is being organized, and it'll start when it'll be impossible to hide the economic tsunami. And I believe it'll happen soon, in a matter of weeks, perhaps as soon as after Vladimir Putin will be inaugurated for the 5th time in the beginning of May. But that's not the news. That's not why I'm making stream today. I have informed you of that before in one way or another. The news is that there's something happening that even I did not expect to happen. Putin has gone further. He changed the political landscape of Russia drastically. Now, please listen very carefully. This stuff now is an important piece of puzzle that is somehow being overlooked by most people in Russia and abroad. And I think this is a very crucial to understand what's happening in Russia. Something important happened on March 18th. Vladimir Putin invited 3 candidates in the last presidential election: Nikolai Kharitonov, the Communist Party of Russia, Vladislav Davankov, the party called New People, and Leonid Slutsky, the party called LDPR. I covered the so-called presidential race extensively, and I talked about these candidates in detail in the previous streams. So Vladimir Putin invited all of them, all 3 of them, to the rally concert that was marking the 10th anniversary of the annexation of Crimea. In Russia, it was called the reunification of Crimea with Russian Federation. So Putin explained then that they all were candidates in the presidential election, and they all came to the Red Square together because they all had common homeland, motherland. And the candidates, they bowed to Putin. They all said they wanted Putin to win. They said it publicly, they admitted. You see, before there was the opposition. It was puppet opposition, but it was opposition nevertheless. After this event happened, and I think this is a very important change of the landscape, after that event on March 18th happened, the opposition became no more. Because if Russian voter, gave his or her vote to a candidate other than Vladimir Putin, that they still gave their votes for Putin. Putin won not by 78% of the votes, but by 100% of all Russian votes. All Russians are for Putin now. Even those who are not, even those who did not vote for Putin, but voted for other candidates, and of course there are Russians like that, those Russians are still for Putin, because those candidates bow to Putin. They want Putin to win. So Putin is enjoying 100% of support of all Russians. And those who are not for Putin, not for the candidates who want Putin out, those are now the enemies. And they will be labeled extremists. And they are to be prosecuted or to be destroyed. And this is so important to understand, because this is a drastic turn in Russian politics. This concept of opposition, it just vanished. It's no more. It's just Putin, and the entire country is behind him. This is the birth of the cult of Vladimir Putin. Just like Joseph Stalin had the cult, now Vladimir Putin has it. And it happened on March 18th. I just don't know how it was overlooked by many, by all. Get this. They will return the death penalty. I thought it would not happen, okay? But hey, I make mistakes sometimes. They have started talking about it. They have started working on it. They have started looking at the legal procedures, how to return the death penalty. And of course, they're talking about it in the wake of this horrendous terrorist attack on Crocus City Hall. But they're not talking about prosecuting the they're using the terrorists just as a decoy. They really want the death penalty to be returned in Russia because guess why? Because the death penalty is even more fear, is even harsher prosecution. Now, since the death penalty is still not allowed in Russia, Russian senators have come out with a brilliant scheme. They want to start sending those who are facing very serious crimes to Belarus and to Belarusian courts and have the processes by proxy in Belarus. And Belarus has death penalty. So if Belarusian court rules death penalty, a Russian citizen committed a crime or, charged with a crime will be sent to Belarus, found guilty, and executed there. Brilliant. That's what they're talking about right now. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I looked at different angles, legal, human, it's crazy. But this is Russia for you. This is the Russian senators. They are talking. It's in the news, and it's being discussed by the Z people. And later, most likely, the death penalty will return to Russia. This means that the terror is just getting started with Navalny and his supporters, with FBK. That those who had nothing to do with Navalny, they're far from being immune, and they will fall the victims of the terror as well. Because this is simply Russian state paradigm now. And the worst situation with the economy will be, perhaps people will be protesting on the streets and so forth, the more terror they will use, because it is becoming the only way to contain the society, to keep it right here. And this is a game changer. Even after the game had been changed in Russia so drastically, okay? This means that Russians have completely lost control over their country and over their lives, just like in the USSR. I mean, they wanted the USSR back, and they got it. And I remember how it stunk in the USSR, and this is it. Perhaps even worse. Soon, very soon, many will lose their freedom. And it happened without them understanding their loss. But they'll be waking up soon. Remember, I told you that most Russians have chosen to live inside informational bubbles. Those bubbles will be burst soon. Okay, not from the inside, not by the people themselves, but from the outside, forced bursts. Russians will wake up. They will be forced very soon, and they won't like what they will see. Remember, I said quite a few times that if you aren't interested in the politics and you abstain from the political process, then the politics still are very interested in you, And sooner or later, they will be knocking on your door in uniforms with arrest warrant in the politics hand. And I think that's a very important turn in Russian political paradigm. I don't even know if I am right calling it the political paradigm. It could be much bigger than that. It's just way of Russian life, way of social contract between the government and the people. Perhaps the government thinks that it does not need social contract anymore because social contract provides two sides with certain rights and responsibilities, but the Russian state will say, hey, you know what? We have no more responsibilities, and they have no more rights. They do as we say, and if they say something in return, they will be killed. I could say that, I have popcorn here by my side and I'd be watching, but, I think that's just not the right time. I think I'd be too cynical. I'm just incredibly sad to see how my country is dying and what we are seeing right now, and it's just the start, and it's going to intensify quite a great deal very soon. It is the convulsions. Friends, thank you so much for giving me a chance. This has been my message for today. I would like to invite you to carry on to the live stream chat so we can talk and I'll answer your questions. I'd be glad to do that. Before I turn the live stream chat on, I'd like to ask you a couple things. Please help me to spread this message by liking this message, by making reposts in your social media accounts, and by commenting. That helps so much. Let me know what you think. Whether I'm right, you think I'm right, you think I'm wrong, disagree, agree with me, just please let me know. Feedback is incredibly important for me and for YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. And if you want to receive daily updates of news, if you want to know what's currently happening in Russia, I have 9 news carefully selected, commented, and analyzed for you. I make them available on Patreon. Become a patron at patreon.com, and you will have access to 9 most important news that care much, a lot, most, not care, that matter much in Russia. So anyway, become a patron, get 9 news a day. Thank you so much. And live stream chat is on right now. Thank you so much for joining again. There you go. If you're here for the first time, I'd like to let you know that this community inside Russia has the best moderators in the world. They are Lorna, Mama K, Bob S, Harry Potnin, Amir Fazad, and Dirk. Great people and the best mods that can ever exist on the internet. Thank you, friends. And the usual suspects, there's a community of Inside Russia, and I'm so glad that you come back. Keep on coming back every day. Fantastic to see everyone. Thank you. If you want me to notice your message or question easier, please put it in all caps or put Inside Russia after @ sign so it appears highlighted in a large orange box, just like the usual suspect leitmotif for me did. Thank you so much. Aaronborn Snail, Frank Mueller, Paula W, Terry, Pamela J, Joe Drames, Ann Austin, Master Q, John, everyone, Juan Martinez, Baker Stock, Komisanti, Yuri Chen from the Netherlands, welcome, and everyone, thank you for giving me a chance. What do you think of my today's message? I don't find it entertaining. Some messages are, they hold more entertaining value, and some more informational value. Today is no entertainment whatsoever, but it's hugely important. Again, this is what I find. This is why I made this stream. Let me know what you think. Harry, good to see you. Dirk, Lorna, Bob, fantastic to see you, friends. We have a couple mods missing today, but they are with us in our hearts, in our minds. Hope everyone is having a good Sunday. I was late. Technical difficulties, I apologize. It's, I can't be everything. I'm trying to be the band of different instruments, and I come up with messages and I deliver them by myself. I don't have anyone else except for my daughter Oля, but she usually is asleep by this time. It's midnight. Well, I start streaming at midnight, and so I apologize. Things happen. So I'll be looking for messages in caps and highlighted in orange. Bakerstock, howdy. SVR, Crusader Damien, Luigi Aqua. Hello, Janice Burgess. Magnus, Forsland, Pamtree Kate. Mention 2. Howdy, friends. Simon, Eddie. Good evening. Dennis, the Menace. Are you Dennis from the movie? Sam K, the Legend. VJ John. Liz Dumbrell. From Alaska, Koshkin Dom, Faith Russert, Just Jimmy, Just Terry, Carlos Enrique Salas, thank you so much for good words. Liz Mailer, good to see you. Caps for questions, says Bob. Yes. Maria from Florida, the underdog, wins aloft. Midwest, the USA. Nige G, howdy. Patrick Henderson, have you heard or have any update on the resistance groups in Russia? I heard something about former active soldiers joining these groups. Patrick, there's not much information available. This is a very hush-hush information. I definitely do not possess any insight of that. There's some information. This is what I know. I know that there are Russians. They get to Ukraine in one way or another, and they form different battalions, legions, there's different units. They operate in the front lines, and sometimes they take raids inside Russia. The KGB informs everyone, and it makes it to the news, that once in a while a Russian is arrested with intentions to go abroad and join one of those units. To me, it sounds bogus, because if you have intention, why would you tell anyone? How would they know? You just, somehow fly out of Russia and then you're free to do whatever you want, okay? So you either have to be absolutely stupid to talk to people about it, or KGB just makes it up. But there are reports and they appear on the news quite often. And then the second way is that there are rumors. There are rumors of those who come back from the front lines. They are not happy about what happened at the front lines and what is happening in Russia. And, obviously they somehow get into the groups. That's, again, I don't know, not in a possession of any information, just rumors here and there. And a piece of rumor here, a piece of rumor here. You can get like a little bigger picture, but it's still rumors. Patrick, that's the best I can answer the question. Arbeck from Kentucky, howdy. Alex Wider, thank you so much for supporting, and thank you for your question or statement. Hey Konstantin, I would love to be one of your usual suspects. Well, aren't you one? But work doesn't allow in time wise. I wanted to send you some love from Sacramento, California. Despite your dour message today, you still give me hope. Alex, thank you so much. Sacramento is a great place. Not strange place to me, as I attended University of California in Davis, visited Sacramento a few times. I didn't attend it for long, for a summer session, and then I moved to Southern Maine, but still, it's one of those universities that I used to be a part of, and UC Davis is just one of the best schools I've seen. Thank you for your support. You are a usual suspect, and it's official now. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being, watching, and thanks for not losing hope, because that's the worst thing can happen. Didn't happen to me, but I was pretty close. And some occasions, something terrible happens. I was pretty close to losing hope, and it's just not a good state to be in. Hope is light. When you lose hope, it's darkness, and it consumes you, and then you fall so low immediately. I don't want to be there. So thank you. Thank you, Alex. Roy Cousins from London. Howdy. Dave Davis, thank you. Love the 9 daily news articles. Please read 1984 by... Dave, please read 1984 by George Orwell. I know it by heart. I've read it quite a few times, and I also read the Animal Farm. It's even better than 1984. So I think that anyone should read them together. So, yes, I know the book quite well. Unbelievable how accurate it is to Russia right now under Putin. Look, Dave. This is how I feel, and I can't even explain in words. This is very strange, because emotions and feelings is one way, one thing, and the words is another thing, and the words are not enough. But I'll try. Put yourself into my shoes. You are living in the country, you're born and raised there, and the country is dark, but then all of a sudden it just changes, and it becomes, somewhat decent, and of course it has baggage in the people, but it's on the right track, or it seems it's on the right track. And then, it's growing, it's getting better, and things like that, so. And all of a sudden, in 2 years, you sit and watch how everything falls apart. And it starts abruptly, and it just falls apart. And then you find yourself in a country that the book 1984 describes incredibly accurately, okay? And you are sitting in absolute amazement, and you're horrified, and you're looking at it, and you go, how could this happen? And this is how I'm feeling. So yes, you are absolutely right. 1984 describes very accurately what it is Russia right now. And it is very unfortunate. So thank you. Melissa Harden, thank you for being a sponsor for 14 months. So sad for Russia. Had hoped that democracy would succeed in Russia, but all the news is bad. There are decent people in Russia. I've seen them rescue injured dogs and get them to the vets in Moscow. Yes, there are people like that. I know a few myself. Um, there are good people. You cannot have any place with no good people, and Russia certainly has some good people, but we have what we have, Melissa. It is incredibly sad. And for me, for us, for the Russians who really understands what's going on, that it is not just sad, but it's tragic. Thank you very much for being the sponsor. Daniel McInnes from Canada. Thank you, Daniel. So great to see you coming back every time and supporting and being there. And thank you. Sam K, the legend. Putin is becoming a parasite. Is becoming? I think, my friend, you're being very politically correct. Sometimes you people in the West are too nice, too soft. You try to sugarcoat a little bit. So I think you're just trying to be overly polite, Sam K. But I understand what you mean. Constantinople. Motherland. My dad used to call me that when I was growing up. You're the second person in the world I've heard that. How many votes Putin got? Well, from Estonia. Howdy, friend. Have you been to Tallinn? No, never been to Estonia. I've been to Lithuania. I have family, very distant family in Lithuania. They were thrown to prison and then released from prison and sent to Lithuania in exile, so to speak. So, and they've been living there ever since. Funny how people in the USSR spoke Lithuanian and Russian, okay? And I've been to Lithuania, and I went there, and people spoke Lithuanian, and it was fine. But now Russians are saying, "Oh, Lithuanians are supposed to speak Russian." Just a thought occurred in my mind. But anyway, I have never been to Estonia. I hope that one day I can visit. I'd like to go to visit all three countries, the Baltics, Lithuania again, Estonia and Latvia. I have quite a few friends, both from Estonia and Latvia. I lived in the USA and I worked in the hospitality business. We had tons of kids coming on work and travel program to the place where I worked, and there were quite a few of them from the Baltics countries, from three countries actually, from Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. So still keep in touch with some of them. So how many votes did Putin get? It's really hard to say, but not as many as they portray. There are reports coming in that in many voting stations, they didn't even count. They just, wrote down their number that they were supposed to write down, that was given them from their superiors. And that's it. I don't know. I cannot answer this. VJ John, K, you are rich in life experiences. Well, thank you, that I am. So many opportunities and seen so many places have resulted with a great family. So blessed, my friend. Thank you so much. It's not a question, it's a statement, but you are right. I've been through a lot, and I have suffered a lot in my life. And I think that my today's family, like my wife and my kids, and they're just a gift for me. It's a little off topic, but I left Russia in September 2022, and for a couple months it was so hard. Well, for quite a few months, and it's still hard, but not as hard. First 3 months were just a killer. At first, I thought life was over. I had no clue why it happened to me. I kept on asking God, like, why? Like, what have I done? And then I found a purpose, and but anyway, the whole experience was occurring to me as a punishment of some kind. And then I remember Natasha and Michael, and I think the girls came, and they came for a visit at first. Well, they came quite a few times, but I remember that particular time. They came for New Year, Christmas and New Year of 2023. And we were sleeping, the three of us. Michael crawled into our bed in between us, right? And I woke up and I saw them, and the sun was shining through my window. And for the first time, I thought, well, you know what? This could be a blessing. Not a punishment, but a blessing. And the more I live in this situation, the more I am convinced that what I'm having right now, having left Russia and building new life here in Uzbekistan, perhaps somewhere else in the future, with my family and with so many new people around and so many causes, this is definitely a blessing. So thank you, VJ John. Thank you so much. Boy, Putin making Russia North Korea 2.0, another dependent nuclear armed lapdog of Beijing, except with resources, Lake Baikal in Siberia taken next. From what I understand, Lake Baikal is being taken as we speak right now. There are quite a few individuals from China and the companies, and they're just buying surrounding land unopposed from authorities. Perhaps authorities are given order from the Moscow or. And Siberia definitely is being taken over. Not next. No, it's happening now, my friend. As a matter of fact, next Friday news update, I'm going to name Russia becomes China friendly. This is official. Russian Vladivostok region, the Far East, has announced that now the government policy is that it's China friendly. It's official. Again, it's hard to believe, I know, but that's a crazy news. Anyway, Putin making Russia North Korea 2.0, it's a label. I understand where you're getting at. I disagree. I agree with the general idea, but I disagree with what you say, North Korea 2.0. It's going to be much worse than North Korea. It's going to be worse. It's going to be Russia. Not Russia, the USSR 2.0. The new USSR, the improved, the digitized, the upgraded, that's what it's going to be. But Crusader Damien, the best questions come from you. Thank you for coming back, friend. It seems that Russian oil tanker Ghost Fleet is not only funding the war, but becoming an ecological menace to the world in order to evade sanctions. Can you add more insight? I appreciate you in the mod. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You have given me incredible amount of food for thought. I can give you something quick right now, but this is one of the topics that I've been thinking for a long time, and perhaps it's time to make a stream or a video. Now, Russia did acquire about 180 old, rusted, nearly out of commission oil tankers. Some call it, you calling it Ghost Fleet. In Russia, it's called Sovcomflot. That's obvious. It's apparently an official organization. So, a lot of them were bought from the Greek. I never knew that the Greek are in, that kind of business, one of the leaders, but obviously they are. The fact most of oil tankers acquired by Russia in 2022 and in 2023 are indeed an ecological menace. They need to be put out of commission. They old, they're, many of them are, they leak fuel and so forth, and there's an ecological disaster waiting to happen. It's kind of the same thing, in my opinion, is as if you would buy a fleet of 1950s planes, passenger planes, and would make your new airline, passenger airline, out of them. Kind of the same thing, in my opinion. So, this is the short answer. Please note that the USA has been working hard on identifying and placing secondary sanctions upon owners of this fleet or anyone who is connected with this fleet. So things are moving in the right direction. For example, the latest news is that some tankers from this ghost fleet came to India, and the Indians simply refused to let them into Indian waters and Indian ports. They had to turn around and take the oil somewhere else. And that somewhere else, China. China remains to be the only country now that buys Russian oil. I take it that they buy oil with huge discounts. This is the latest development. It's still happening right now. And I'll have more information on that. I think that deserves either a video or a stream. Again, Crusader Damien, thank you so much for being such a great member, the pillar of Inside Russia. Thank you for your all support. And what is much more valuable to me is your questions and your statements. Food for thought has been incredible. Thank you. Chris Gadsby, is there still Tashkent breakfast meeting? My friend, every single day, every morning. There was a meeting this morning. There were quite a few people. We had a lecture. A professor from Moscow State University fled Russia in September 2022 with her family. That's a lady. She was not a subject of mobilization, but she just a good Russian. So her baby, she has two girls. One is 5 or 6, and the second one was 6 months at a time in September of 2022. So the whole family, they just packed up and left. Her and her husband found work here. And she used to teach a course, The History of Entrepreneurship in Russia. That's what she talked about this morning. Fantastic lecture. Fantastic. You know, I found myself sitting among people who are so intellectually pleasing to talk to. Engineers, doctors, college professors, all kinds of people. It's just fantastic. So anyway, every Sunday we have a lecture. Every Saturday we have a large meeting because some people work weekdays and then everyone shows up on Saturday. Yesterday was just a fantastic meeting. And then every morning I go to Breakfast Club. There are from 5 to 10 people usually show up and we have breakfasts. It's like our local hangout place. Moreover, if you become a patron of Inside Russia, that patron has unveiled a new feature, and it's called chat. Basically, on any mobile device, and I think on the computers too, there's like a message, like a forum message board. You can chat and post pictures, and I post pictures of Breakfast Club meetings, and I posted quite a few pictures from the Breakfast Club this morning. So if you want to take a look, become a patron and head to the chat. So not only you can see pictures, but we communicate, not just with me, but with all of us. We communicate with each other. Marco, a serious question. Do you think the guy in the Kremlin has schizophrenia? I'm not a doctor, and I cannot give you a verdict. of what he has. But as a citizen, as a normal, regular person, I think that there's something wrong here. Not sure about the disease, but perhaps it's just. Remember Lord of the Rings, Gollum? Used to be a normal person, but then found the Ring of Power, put it on, and it's corrupted him. And over so many years, he became what he became, this creature. Perhaps that's the same kind of problem. Not schizophrenia, but something else. Perhaps it's a combination of both or many. Boy, God China, thank you so much. Thank you for nice words, and thank you for your support. Sam K. Putin punishment sent to the hog. Heg. The heg. Oh, it's so difficult, this word. Sent to the heg. Egg. Heg. Is in shackles and forced to listen to Justin Bieber, Baby Shark, and Crazy Frog songs on the loop for 40, 50 years nonstop. Sam, one thing I can say, you're a legend. Park crashers. Can Russians ever be happy in Russia? Yes, they can be. I was happy in Russia for quite some time. Until 2010, 2011, I was happy in Russia. Russia was very different, so yes. Now, I don't know. I've never listened to Yoko Ono. Where can you listen to her? Interesting, you know. Alex, thank you for the super chat, and it's interesting. Interesting how you mentioned Yoko Ono. Haven't heard that name in a long time. Terry Carter, howdy. Question: does anybody think some in the Kremlin 9 out of 10 voices in their heads saying they're not crazy? Well, I think you are on the right track. Marek, an unidentified persons killed 2 policemen in Moscow region. What is your opinion for that? You know, I just caught the news right before I started the stream, so I don't know much about it. It's been reported on the news. And my opinion is this. That's gonna start happening more and more. Not just to policemen, but to like many people. Russia is falling apart. And the falling apart will be shown in many ways. And that's just one of the ways. Hey, if police does not respond to largest terrorist attack in 25 years perhaps, what signal does it send to the terrorists? You know, I'm pretty sure you saw my live stream of how police and KGB are responsible for the how they failed the terrorist attack. So if there's no police, the bad guys, they're all over, you know. I know it's pronounced The Hague, but it's so difficult. Bob S., thank you so much. Checking. Bridget Bordeaux, greetings from Czech Republic. Howdy, howdy. Every time I see someone from Czech Republic, from Poland, from the Baltic states, from Bulgaria, warms my heart. Thank you for coming. Yoko Ono. It's funny. I think she just turned 80 or 90. Bayou Mem, thank you so much. Yeah, I am grateful already. Clyde Price, it's a serious question. Do you think that Putin will be thrown out of the office? He will be out of the office one way or another. And I don't think he's going to be in the office on his own. I think that's he's going to be forced one way or another. Will he be thrown out? Yes. Leitmotif for me, did you see the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore? Yes, I did. Marco, do you think Putin comes back and says, I was wrong and we need to pull back? Never, 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 never. Read my lips, will never happen, because that means one thing for Vladimir Putin: instant death. End of his political career, but not just the political death. Okay? Then, if you say that, hey, I was wrong, how many hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians were killed because of your mistake? How many thousands, hundreds of thousands of Russians were killed, injured, made disabled because of your? Buddy, you gotta answer for that, okay? And there will be many other questions about the economy, lives, freedoms, And if he does that, instant death, and then everyone will start blaming him. They will start hunting for Z people, saying, "Oh, you're a Z person, you propaganda. Oh, come over here. Now we're gonna, you're gonna pay for what you were saying." Never. That will never happen. Anything but that. Dave C, howdy, Galaxy Rider, long time no see, good to see you. Same here. Conan Barbarian, howdy. John Abira, Constantine, did you appreciate how oppressed you were when you lived in Russia? Did I appreciate how? No, I did not appreciate how I was oppressed. And I was oppressed because, many people here follow my channel for a long time. And guess what? Remember, I was speaking not in straight lines. I was, I used to say, read between the lines. And I had to be very creative to come up with things to say so you could read my meaning behind the lines, in between the lines, okay? And I certainly did not appreciate that. When I left Russia and I came to Uzbekistan, trust me, it was such a relief not to be oppressed anymore. So I don't understand. Perhaps I misunderstand the question. Why would you say I appreciated how oppressed I was? No, I don't think anyone would appreciate that. Nike does things. I'm sure that the restaurant is happy with the breakfast club too. At first, we've changed 3 restaurants so far. The first restaurant basically kicked us out, and it was a big mystery why. Later, I learned that the local KGB headquarters are right next to the restaurant, and the KGB Uzbek, people came quite often to that restaurant, and they didn't appreciate Russians getting together there. So they just hinted that we were gonna go. So they didn't kick us out. They made us unbearable conditions for us. They asked us not to get together by more than 10 people first and 5 people. And so we went to a different restaurant run by a Russian guy. It was great, but it was so darn expensive. We couldn't afford eating there. And we moved to a third place. And the third place starts hinting, I start feeling the smoke, smelling the smoke of they don't want us there. And despite we bring business, but Uzbekistan is a very sophisticated country. It's the East. It has own rules. Okay, friends, I'm being signaled to look for the time I am looking. Let me just once more see. Perhaps I missed a super chat. Alex, Sam K, Boy, Crusader Damien, Boy again, Sam K again, Melissa, Daniel McInnes, Dave Davis, and Alex again. Thank you so much, friends, for support. I appreciate it, and I invite everyone to... And Boy again. YouTube is censoring. Choose all chats, not top chats. Okay, thank you. That's an interesting observation. Fred Hintz, Heinz, I have a question that I do not understand. The average security service person picking up people to prosecute, how can they justify what they're doing to their fellow Russians? They don't. You asking this question, it shows me that you have a typical Western, normal person, decent person mentality. The way you think is so different from what Russian security service person thinks. It's like day and night. Okay, they don't have empathy. They don't care. They have power and they are fed by the government. They follow the orders. They don't have feelings. They don't have hearts. The cold-blooded animals. That's who they are. Okay, they probably enjoy prosecuting innocent people, and they know they're innocent. So this is how they think. So you live in a completely different world. Thank you, friends. Russian mafia is making a comeback. Big one, SVR. It's one of the things that I'll be talking about more. Thank you for coming again. I would like to invite everyone to pray along with me. TKY, thank you so much for your support. That's your first message in Super Chat. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. So, Liz Mailer, yes. Broke Knights both hard. That's right. I finish every live stream with a prayer, and I invite everyone to pray along. If you're religious or not religious, doesn't matter in my eyes. I think God is love, and there is love in the hearts of every single one of us. I have not seen a person without love. Some have more, some have less, but we all have love. So, and that means we all have God in us, whether we believe in God or don't believe in God. So it doesn't matter. The main thing is that God believes in us. So let's do it. Dear Lord, thank you very much for giving us this week. Thank you for giving everything. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads safe and peaceful, and give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will never fight with each other. They will only love each other, and they will make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy, because they are our world and our life. Dear Lord, I'm asking for Ukraine. Please stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Please help every single person in Ukraine who has suffered. Answer the prayers and make the dreams come true. Send angels to protect all the people there and bring them safety. Please reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those responsible and capable of making the decision to stop the bloodshed. Wake them up, give them a kick, soften their hearts, do anything that is needed so they make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia, assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, in shining armor, and send this your heavenly army like an avalanche to the earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked Russia, who have been ruining Russia, who we know by their names and by their faces, and send them to where they belong, to hell. Have angels help good Russians run the country, make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling. Send them safe travels. Help those who are seeking for asylum of any kind, who are in trouble, in danger, in dire straits. Please send them safety. Help single mothers who are struggling raising their children, trying to make ends meet. Send them your help. Please bless everyone who is helping Ukrainians and those Ukrainians who are in current danger of Russian attacks. Please send them safety. Send them your angels to protect and watch over them. Dear Lord, please help all the hungry, the sick, the addicted, the homeless, the jobless, the depressed, the betrayed, the ones who are not feeling well, who are losing their faith, and who in general not feeling good about their lives anymore. Dear Lord, please fill their hearts with love and warmth. Have them feel your presence. Have them feel that you are with them, that you watch every step that they take, that you help them, that you're with them, that you have not abandoned them, and they're not alone. That feeling will make their lives so much richer and better and happier. Please help them in any way needed, and be with them and have them feel your presence. Thank you. Dear Lord, thank you so very much for allowing us to get together here so often and pray together. Thank you for everyone who's praying along or simply watching us pray. Dear Lord, please. Well, thank you for all these people here right now. Answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I would like to ask for a few people who need your help. They are Mammy Kay and her mother, Lisa Kumrian, Tom W., Terry Carter, Marie Doran, Warren Spees, Jay Spike, Natalia Blaga, Eric Quinn, Gabing with Gary, James Marston, Frank Caprio, Jim in Houston, Frank in Texas, Paula W., Karen mom's Dorothy, please have her rest in peace, and send Karen strength. Tim Mayes, Larry B., Dominic, Jason Carney, Susie Mailer, please send your love and give her strength. Sandra Dunn, Kyle E.'s wife, Rhonda McGillis, Morgan L., and Larson's daughter, Hannah, Dory, Terry Carter, former in-laws, Electron's family, John, Kurt from Colorado, Deborah, Bogey Berger and 2 sons, Dave, Don, Wayne, George Ruberty, White Lightning, Lise Dumbrell, Darla, Julia Haney, Linda, Natasha, Yelena, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Randolph, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Lisa Cumrian, Liz, AMS paramedic, Karen, Grace, The Highwayman, Pamela J., Meta Spencer, Joan Lee McMahon, Jeffrey S., and his family members, Stefan from Sweden, live, David Porter, his family, and everyone from Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Alvin, Teresa D., and a little girl, her name is Sarah. She needs your help, recovery. Please help her and give her parents who keep on praying for her day and night, give them strength. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. David Porter, thank you for the good words. Be strong and keep smiling. Amen to that. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming. It's fantastic to see everyone again. Alex, Hans Eriksson, thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you for your support. I would like to remind you that you all are absolutely awesome and you rock. Don't forget about that. Will be another message tomorrow. I'll try to make it very interesting and it'll be important. In any way, please come back and give me a chance tomorrow too. For today, I'd like to finish the stream by asking you to say along with me out loud as you can the following: Carthago delenda est.